The sad, inevitable end of Math Hoffa.
After COVID, he probably thought, things were sweet. There was a lot of moving and all that, and how it kind of gassed a lot of people. I would say it gassed me also. I definitely got caught up in some financial issues and all that. But regardless, I tried to keep the shop and everything running, right? But I'm going to break down to y'all a situation that I've been dealing with. I've been dealing with this for a little while, and now it's gotten to the point where we don't know what's going to happen with the shop. Just keeping it 100. Yeah, the math not mathing. The math not mathing, son. The math not mathing. But so the chick that I was subleasing from would start sending me shit like, yo, this he's gonna try to evict us, or he's gonna take me to court off of this. And highlighted in the lease, it says the purpose of the shop was a barber shop. She's sending me this little clip of it saying that the intention of this shop is supposed to be a barber shop, but with commercial businesses, just like a mixed use, it's still a barber shop. It's just we're shooting the podcast in the barbershop. But you can't tell a yo, because, y'all don't got this open and barbers is cutting people hair, that this ain't a barbershop. It's still a barbershop. You walk into the fuck, you look around, it looks like a fucking barbershop, don't it?
What up, word? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join that membership gang. YouTube is a scary place, especially when you do not know what you're doing. And I'm just going to be honest, I have no issue with Math Hoffa as a person. I have no issue with his show, My Expert Opinion, as a podcast or as a entity. I don't have any problem with what they got going on. I'm just here to discuss it because this is happening. Math Hoffa has come out with a video saying that he has lost the infamous barbershop. Not only did he lose it, he is in danger of losing his whole podcast platform. Now, let me just explain to you what's going on. If you don't know who Math Hoffa is an infamous battle rapper known for punching other battle rappers in mid-battle and just being a very boisterous, bombastic, outspoken individual. He started a podcast, I want to say, I'm just going to go on a limb, about 5 to 7 years ago, right? I might be wrong. It came out of nowhere like gangbusters, guys. This thing went through the roof. I believe the guest that threw him the alley-oop to blow him up, I may be wrong, but I think it was Fat Joe. It may have been Fat Joe that blew Math Hoffa up. Either Fat Joe, DMX, or I can't remember exactly who it was. But I'm almost 100% that it was Fat Joe. Math Hoffa's program became the #1 show to get those New York, old school, straight up Timbo boots interviews from guys that you wanted to know. You wanted to know what happened with this, that, and the third, right? He got everybody that was 90s and 2000s. He got them all, right? You wanted to know what happened with G-Unit or whatever, Tony Yeti, whatever. He got them. He got them. I saw mad people, heads that I didn't even know I wanted to hear from. He was getting everybody. The show was lit. You understand what I'm telling you? This show was the #1 thing smoking. It rose up fast. Within 2 years, that thing was knocking on the door. It was competing with everybody and everything in hip hop. He was right there. It was close. He wasn't there with Drink Champs, but he was making them nervous. Let's put it like that. They was looking over their shoulder like, yo, Mav doing this thing. And I was like, Mav doing this thing. It made you, he had Griselda, different people. It made you want to watch all 6 clips of whatever artist, like, you know what I'm saying? Now, as that started to grow, Matt started to show his personality even more. If you didn't know before who Matt was before, you really got to know who he was when this show came on. And I'm just going to be honest, I didn't know much about Math Hoffa. I thought he was very just rambunctious, just rough under the collar, just like one of these dudes that would snap at any moment. He seemed grimy. He seemed like, you know what I'm saying? Seemed like one of these dudes that will hit you with the 3-card Molly. You know what I'm saying? Just like, and wouldn't give a shit. Like, just like, he just seemed very like, it was super, he seemed super New York. Seemed like, yo, B, like, you know what I'm saying? We can, he's ready to knuckle up at any moment. He ready to do whatever he got to do to get that bag. And it seemed very, out of character for him to sit still and do these interviews, but he did it. It seemed like he put all of that past aside and became a podcaster. He started to see what it was, and he started to abide by the rules. It's a certain way you got to be with this. You got to be quiet, let the person talk. You got to ask the right questions. You know what I'm saying? You got to be humble. You can't make it about yourself. He started to fall in line with what you do as an interviewer. Now, the only issue with that is when you build your brand around interviews and you start getting these big interviews, that's what you are. If you don't have your own identity per se, when you lose those interviews, you're going to lose your views. What I feel like Math started to do was he tried to insert himself into what the people really were there for. The people like myself were there for the interviews. Eric Sermon, different people, whoever's on, we want to see that interview, right? Big Daddy Kane, we there for that. Matt started to insert his music and his own opinions, which is called my expert opinion, into stuff that had nothing to do with what you were really there for. And I think Matt, in a way, and I mean this respectfully, I think Matt kind of confused the success of the interviews in the channel with his personal characteristics or who he is as a person. He thought people were there for that. That's why Matt started to have problems with his guests. I mean, not his guests, his co-workers, right? Esso and Heineken, they left the podcast in an awful way. You looked up one day, they were just gone. They were the heart and soul of this podcast because you identified them with how they would bug out with the guests, and it just felt it wasn't just Matt Hoffa is what I'm trying to say that made you endure to the show. It felt like some real dudes that loved hip hop. They loved what they did, and as a unit, they were good with this person. It wasn't just Matt doing these shows. So you started to feel like this unit is cohesive, just like with Joe Budden, just like with No Jumper. A certain unit will make you endear to them. Once you start falling in love with that little concoction, you feel like, okay, I know what I'm getting every time I get on this podcast. Each one of them brings something different to the table. What happens is when the host, and this is just I feel this way about Joe Budden, I feel this way about Adam 22, I feel this way about Matt Hoffa. When the host of the show thinks that they're the draw, they think that they're bigger than the show, there's going to be problems. And sure enough, with Matt Hoffa, Esso, and Heineken, problems arose. And it always stems, gang, I'm just going to be honest, around money. Soon as that host feels like he's the big enchilada, then he want all the money. He want to fill the enchilada with all the money. And allegedly, right? I know Matt Hoffa would be like, that ain't what happened. Da, da, da. But according to the host that left Joe Budden, right, Rory and Maul, and according to Esso and Heineken, money got in the way. Money wasn't being paid. He felt like he should be getting more money than they are, and therefore he acted accordingly and started to pay them less or pay himself more, however you want to call it. They ended up leaving. The show took a hit, right? He put some more people in there, but the show took a hit. These two dudes left the show, made their own podcast, and their podcast is doing pretty well. Bagfuel is doing well, which you wouldn't expect because these guys don't seem like podcasters. But they're doing a good job. They've learned to elevate beyond it, just like Rory and Maul. They've learned to elevate beyond Joe Budden. They still do their thing to what it to. I know Rory and Maul irritate the shit out of us, but at the same time, they've built their brand, right? And they've become viable in this business. They have workers, they have staff, da da da. So Matt Hoffa, in my opinion, doesn't understand that, okay, he may have bounced back, but he still has to carry his business in a certain way with these new guys that come through the door. You can't be, this show's about me, da, da, da. The show's called My Expert Opinion. And then they have a guest. If the guest is good, the numbers go up. If the guest is not good, the numbers go down. It is what it is. Math didn't understand that because in my opinion, and I'm going to tell you why we are where we are with Math right now. In my opinion, if this show is driven by interviews, then you are not bigger than anybody in that room. Because you're not the draw. The interview is the draw. So there should be no friction with the co-host. There should be no conversation about money. We're splitting this pie 5 ways or whatever it is every single day because nobody's watching for me. You know how I know nobody's watching for Math? Because when the show comes on, Math started putting his music in the beginning, and as soon as you go down in the comments, they were clown. They're like, yo, stop putting your songs here. Stop putting your music in the beginning of the show, gang. Like, what you doing? It was like, Math, the only one thinks his music is good. And I'm just going to be honest. I literally slide the thing right past the music. If I do, see, it makes you not even want to click the video, first of all. But I slide right past his music and just watch if I choose to watch the show. I'm just going to be honest, gang. I'm not here to drag Math. I'm just telling you, as a fan of the show, this is what I would do, right? So I think Math used that vehicle incorrectly. Math would have 2 songs in the beginning, 2 songs in the end. It just got crazy. And what used to drive me crazy, I'm just gonna be honest, that loud ass gunshot at the end. It just was like everything, like it's like, yo, you trying to blow my goddamn speakers out, gang. So it's like everything was like Math is doing stuff that's kind of like, it's kind of counterproductive. But he still built up a following of 1 million. Math has 1 million subscribers. Math Hoffa has 1 million. My Expert Opinion has 1 million subscribers. You know what 1 million subscribers is? That's a license to print money, gang. But right now, I'm doing more numbers than Math Hoffa. I'm going to repeat that. I do more numbers than Math Hoffa right now. Because Math Hoffa had yet another fallout with more of his co-hosts, and the show started to suffer. And then on top of that, now we got this whole drama where Math is like, yo, I just lost the barbershop. They used to film the show in the barbershop. Math put up a video explaining what happened with the barbershop. Because he started doing these videos, gang, and I'm just going to be honest, they weren't really doing well. Okay? Math's newest videos aren't really doing that well. Because he's not doing them in the barbershop. People start being like, what's going on with the barbershop? Math had to come out with a video saying, I lost the barbershop. He got a flashlight. He's going in the barbershop with a flashlight because the power's been cut off. Math, why the power cut off? Because he had a girl that was written, it was really in her name, whoever this girl is, and she had a direct correlation with the landlord. So allegedly, the girl and the landlord are having issues. The landlord one of the issues is Math is no barbers in the barbershop. You're on a lease to have a barbershop in here, but there's never nobody in here cutting hair. I thought that Math had people. First of all, I didn't think it was his barbershop. I used to wonder whose barbershop is this. Couldn't find out it ain't nobody barbershop because he bought the space. The barber stuff is in there, so he films it in there. And then when they don't have nothing going on, it's nothing going on. So the doors are closed. Math said they can film enough content in a couple days, 2 days or whatever, that they can cut that up for 2 weeks, so they don't got to come to work. So he's not even in there for 2 weeks straight. The lights are off, the power's off, they're not even there. So I'm thinking like, why would you not just have barbers in there to offset the cost? Because you lost the thing now, right? The landlord is like, where's the barbers? There's no barbers. You're on lease to have a barbershop. How are you paying for this? So rightfully so, I'm just going to be honest. The landlord has a right to ask that because if you're not in there cutting hair, then you're probably money laundering or selling cocaine. Or both. So it don't make a landlord's not gonna catch no RICO or none of that because you're using his barbershop space as a front. Right? Now Math said the landlord's racist. I don't know nothing about if the landlord's racist or not. The landlord asked him, are you selling cocaine? Well, Math, I'm just gonna be honest. If you're paying 10 grand a month and you ain't never cut no hair, It's low-key a valid question. I'm just going to be honest. Now, maybe it's racist, maybe it's not. But low-key is a valid question. How you paying for this shit? I don't see nobody in here doing no lineups. What we doing? So, go from there. Mav says, the girl and the landlord having issues over him not having no barbers in the chair. Mav claims that the barbers used to wreck the place. When he did have barbers, they had their people in the chairs, and the chairs were getting reckless. One day they came in and the chair was broke, and nobody knew why the chair was broke. So he said, that's it, no more barbers. I'm just going to be honest, gang. I've been a business owner for 15 years. Things break. Employees ain't perfect. Things don't run smooth. First of all, if you got a barber shop and you letting the barbers just run it, then that's a mistake. You need somebody to run that place. And things are going to break. Chairs are going to break. It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. What you need to start saying, listen, the chairs break. You barbers are responsible to maintain these chairs. If that chair breaks, I need money to fix it, or you got to fix it. You can't be like, nobody told me the chair was broke, so fuck it, all the barbers done. Barbershop closed. No, that's not how you do business, gang. I'm just going to be honest. It's not how this works, bro. And there's no disrespect to Mav. If Mav watching this, is no disrespect. I'm just telling you what it is. As a business owner, you don't cut a business off like that. I don't care if it's one barber giving you $500 a week. You need it. You need it. Because apparently, and again, I get his point about the electricity. Apparently the girl and the landlord was going back and forth because the girl was presenting Mav Hoffa with a $7,000 electric. So now, and this is where it's funny. Mav said that it was a $7,000 electric bill. And it just hit me as I was talking. I was like, wait a minute. So the landlord has no knowledge of this. He doesn't deal with the electricity. Because the landlord came in one day. Mav claims all electricity was out in most of the building because the girl let the electricity lapse. So the electricity is in the girl's name. Right? I've had a space before where we were leasing it, and you had to get the electricity and the gas in your own name. Landlord has nothing to do with that, so we can't judge the landlord on that. So Mav said this girl presented him with a electricity bill for $7,000. He was like, F that, I'm not paying that. I ain't using $7,000. We ain't never even here. So, fast forward, the girl cut off the electricity. I think Mav is leaving out something where him and this girl not good either. I don't know. I'm not sure. But she cut off the electricity and didn't tell him. It sounds like they're having some friction too. I'm just going to be honest. So Mav said the electricity got cut off. He's in there with a flashlight. He said different parts of the building are cut off too with electricity. So he said that proves that the electricity was abnormally high and I shouldn't have been paying it. Well, you're right at that point. But at that point, you need to call. First of all, let me just tell you where you messed up first. Before we even get to, because he can't call electricity because it ain't his name. Before we get any further, right? I'm just going to be honest, Mav. You stepped into this shit with nigga logic, my nigga, because you rented a space that you don't own. You have no power in this building whatsoever. You got it from somebody else who got it from somebody else. Your name is on nothing. And then it sounds like you're barking at the landlord because he's coming to check on the place. Like, why you not even in here cutting hair? Why you making it like you doing haircut and y'all just in here, you barely here? So it sound like him and the just my opinion, what I'm saying, sound like him and the landlord got into it. So you got into that place under somebody else's lease. You don't even know what the electricity really is supposed to be or not supposed to be. You just saying it's too much, right? Then you get into it with your co-hosts. They leave and walking out the door. You fill them with another one and you just keep the show going, da-da-da. And I've seen Mav Hoffa outside of the interviewing process, and Mav Hoffa does seem a little, he kind of like a little edgy. I'm just gonna keep it. Mav Hoffa's a little bit edgy, gang. Like, he seemed a little bit like, yo, he kind of difficult, low key. Just gonna be honest. So you put all that into a bubble and you put a little bow on it. Now you got a problem. You got a guy that's a little edgy with a place with no lease. He has no name. His name not on the contract. His name ain't on the electric. So you at the mercy of this girl. What she do? Clipped it. She probably like, you know what? I'm all set with this whole shit. Clipped the electricity. Told the landlord, I'm good. Do whatever. Lease probably up anyway. I don't know if the lease up or not, but it sounds like a person who's wiped their hands of it. Math legally has nothing to do. He's not going to owe anything to this nobody. So Math has nothing to do with this thing anymore. He's done. The place is done. He still got a key, so he came in there and whatever. But he can't turn them lights on. And whatever he got going on with the landlord ain't gonna give him no contract. He's not. The landlord's all set with the whole shit. He's never gonna have you come back. He think you're a drug dealer. So no, you're not coming there. So Math has done this video saying end of an era. He's in the podcast. He's in the barbershop with the flashlight, explaining everything that happened. Jude, I'm just gonna be honest. And he said there's a war on podcasts because what happened was he was making a whole lot of money before, and now the money ain't there no more. And I'm just gonna be honest, YouTube ain't what it used to be. But gang, let me just say these things, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. And if Math is watching, I'm gonna say this to Math too, on some respectful shit. I'm not trying to disrespect you, my nigga. I'm just telling you what happens. For one, you should have never made any videos about this. Never. You could have easily got a new space already. For one. For two, the numbers are down because now you're changing the dynamic of the podcast. You're not doing the interviews that people were there for. You think because you don't have a barbershop that you can't do the interviews like you want. So now you have no guessing. You're trying to do what I'm doing, just sitting in one space. You're reading articles off the internet. Right? You're talking about rappers that got shot and different things. Like, you're just doing what the average YouTuber's doing. That's going to be real tough to change, to shift gears, gang. I'm just going to be honest, Math. Like, we little guys, we just starting this, or we've been doing this for a year or two, whatever, and that's what we do. But people come to us for that. They didn't come to my expert opinion for that. Your videos should not be trying to do the news of the day. You shouldn't be doing that. I don't think it's going to work because you got to put a lot of time into this. Like I say all the time, this shit look easy. This ain't easy, gang. I tell you all the time, before I start even pressing record, I'm doing 2 hours of research on the topic. I'm just going to be honest. So this ain't that easy to just get on there and start throwing up a screen behind you, reading off the news. Like, that's going to... Listen, Math, that ain't going to work. I went to see Math last video. The joint got 800 views, gang. I'm not trying to disrespect Math. I'm just being honest. Math video got 800 views. His video is averaging 2,000 views. Right? So what I'm saying is, Math is going to have to understand. Trying to do the Adam 22, telling everybody I'm broke, no. No. And trying to do the daily news and cover stuff that's hot in hip-hop, no. That's not your lane, gang. Listen to me. You got friends in this business. You got battle friends. You got mad people. Sit them down. Sit your ex-co-host down. Get a spot. Interview. Do your fucking job, gang. You got 1 million fucking subs. Take your music off the beginning of the video. Fuck all that music shit. Just start the shit. Get somebody. It's mad rappers. Sit them down. Sit them down. Do your job, gang. You don't need nobody else, right? Well, you do need some. Slow. I'm getting ahead of myself. You need you need 2-3 people. Right now, you can get 2-3 people to do this stuff for free. I know the money ain't coming in like it was, but this is where you regroup and rebrand. Start the show somewhere else. Don't do no more videos about how you failed, gang. Nobody wants to hear that. That's just gonna be more fuel because they in your comments now talking about how you messed the bag up, how you fumbled. Don't do no more videos about how you fumbled. Right? Don't do no more videos about how you fumbled. And another thing, I don't think you're strong enough to be on this camera one-on-one and just talk. It's not working. Right? You're not strong enough for that. I think what you need is a team like you had. And people need to trust that your brand is going to be what it needs to be like you used to. You got 1 million subs, gang. You should be printing money. But you got to remember how you got the 1 million subs. You got it off doing interviews, deep dives into artists with stories they wanted to hear. Tupac this, Jay-Z that, Rockefeller, da-da-da. That's what they want to hear. It's at least 1,000 artists that'll sit down with you, minimum, that will sit down with you and do these interviews. You got to get back on your shit, my nigga. I know these other motherfuckers, they want to laugh at you, but I'm telling you some real shit. And he might get mad, he might not at this video, but watch it to the end. Before you get mad, Math, watch the shit to the end. I'm telling you some real shit. Okay? I'm just gonna be honest. You could print money right now, but you gotta destroy your overhead. That barbershop was overhead. If they're charging you $7,000 for electricity and you know you was only using 1,000, you should have never been in a place that was going to even be able to do that. The next thing you do, you gotta get, now you got the money somewhere, right? You can get the money. You can get a loan. Math, listen to me, gang. You got 1 million subs. You can print money. Advertisers will throw money to you. I'm talking like it's just me and you. Advertisers will throw you money. You got 1 million subs, my nigga. You don't need to be on here talking about you fucked up. You need to be on that phone. As a matter of fact, don't do no more fucking videos. Delete your last 20. Don't do no more videos. Get a sponsor. That sponsor gonna get you your space. You get in the space. You get you 2 fucking hosts. You get your guests, line them up for the next 3 months. Shoot your fucking shit, my nigga. What are we talking about? And humble yourself. I'm not last nigga that's here to clown you. I'm here to tell you some real shit. Because before I was doing YouTube videos, I was a business owner. And I still am. Okay? So what I need you to understand is you got to know your business. You can never start a business in a place where your name ain't on the paperwork. That's rule number 1. We got to get away from this nigga logic. Well, Shorty got the building, yo. Shorty got the building, so the electricity in her name. No, nigga. How Kendrick say on that live years ago, no, nigga. It's not how you do it, gang. We got to level up. That nigga logic ain't going to get us nowhere. You got 1 million subs. You supposed to have 4, 5 sponsors. This shit supposed to be like Drink Champs. Humble yourself. No, don't do the fucking daily news. Get back to your shit. Okay? You don't need to do the fuck we're doing. We're fucking small time. Don't do what we're doing. You're fucking Matt Hoffa. You got a name. Your name is worldwide. What are we talking about? You just put up a video about Scooter, and the video got 800 views. Gang. Reset, gang. Don't do no more fucking videos. Get on the fucking phone. Walk in some offices. Say, listen, I got 1 million subs. This guy's out here with 50,000 subs, got fucking sponsors and shit. What we talking about? Reset, gang. Rebrand. And respect your co-hosts. It's all of y'all show, not just yours. And once you realize it's all of your shows, then all of you got to eat. Okay? Half of something is better than all of nothing. Just gonna be honest. That's the end of this. That's all I got to say about this, Math. You got to understand your worth. This a crazy game. It's crazy. But if you don't understand the game, or you don't understand why you got there, you're never gonna be there again. You got there for a reason. Do your shit and get there again. CLBMG. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.